Late this evening, the deputies were called out here to Hamilton Hill Road for domestic disturbance. Gunshots had been fired. Upon arrival, we discovered that a son-in-law had in fact been shot in the face, allegedly by his father-in-law. Upon arrival, the deputies getting out here, additional shots were fired by the suspect, not by the deputies. We immediately secured the perimeter and notified our SWAT team to come get en route. Once we secured the area, we immediately began negotiating. Through those negotiations, the suspect was relaying to us that he had shot his son-in-law, that he had killed his ex-wife and daughter, and if we made any further advances to the house, that he was going to kill the two grandkids. We again continued negotiations. Major Scott, Don Scott, our negotiation team continued to negotiate. After several hours, the suspect did release the two grandchildren. They were removed out and put in a safe place. Negotiations continued. We believed, unbeknownst to the suspect, that the ex-wife was still alive. She was allegedly communicating with her son by text message. Again, the suspect thought that she was dead. Gaining that information that we could, again, assuming that we were getting information from the ex-wife, you had to consider that it could be him sending those messages. The decision was made to make entry into the house. We formed our entry team, and they started making entry into the house. Once they breached the door, the suspect was barricaded and shooting through what we now know was a barricade that he had made inside the house. The first deputy that went through the door was struck. He's currently being flown to the University of Alabama Medical Center in serious condition. Certainly our prayers first and foremost go out to him and his family. We brought our attention back here. Our guys, obviously worn out. Agencies from all over the state have been calling and coming. City of Laurel, all the surrounding sheriff's departments, police departments, all your emergency services workers, emergency management. There's been a tremendous turnout of support to be able to come out because of the heat, the stress, and the strain. Obviously, with all the perimeter that we had to set up and all the other things that having to take place, it took a lot of personnel. We couldn't have done it without all these other agencies coming in. Mississippi Highway Patrol, after the shooting of our deputy, was contacted to come in to relieve our SWAT team, again start assessing what we had. After a couple hours, again, of assessing and negotiating, their entry team made entry into the house. Upon entry into the house, they were able to retrieve the female victim. She is still alive at this time and was transported to South Central Regional Medical Center. We regrouped after we got the female out of the house. Mississippi Highway Patrol removed the female from the house. We regrouped again, and Mississippi Highway Patrol made entry a second time. And upon entry, they found the suspect in the house dead. At this time, we don't know if death occurred when our entry team was fired upon and obviously returned fire, or it could possibly be self-inflicted. But either way, the suspect is dead. We do know for the fact the son-in-law is in critical condition. The last I was told, the ex-wife is in serious critical condition. The daughter is deceased, and the deputy sheriff is in serious condition again en route to the University of Alabama.
Was there a grenade used? We heard an explosion.
Those are flash grenades for distractions on the entry teams and stuff. That was not a grenade per se. It was a flash bang that's used for the SWAT teams. That's just as a distraction or to deter his attention away from where you're going to actually make entry.
Sheriff, do you have any estimate on how many people are here? How many agencies? How many officers?
Well, there's probably 100 officers out here, multiple agencies. I don't want to miss any. We can firm this up later, but I know, obviously, Jones County Sheriff's Department, City of Laurel, Lamar County Sheriff's Office, Mississippi Highway Patrol, Emergency Management, I think Smith County Sheriff's Department. And again, I don't want to. I want to go and say a special thank you to MSERV, because even when the gunfire was still being exchanged between the suspect and the deputies making entry into the house, after our deputy was struck and was on the ground, MSERV did not delay in the least. They immediately came down and extracted, with the assistance of our entry team, the deputy, and very rapidly got him out of here, and could be the difference between his life, the expediency that they removed him from the scene. So they didn't have to do that. They put their own life in harm's way, and certainly does not go unnoticed. It's much appreciated.
Did the suspect indicate a motive during the negotiations?
Basically, all we've learned so far is this was over an eviction process. This is the son-in-law and daughter's home with the kids, and apparently he's been allegedly, again, this is still just learning this stuff. He's been trying to get them evicted out of the house. I don't know if the suspect owned the house or what at this time, but as we've, throughout the course of this investigation so far, we've learned that it was basically a domestic dispute that started over him trying to evict them out of this house.
What were the negotiations like, if you could describe them?
Well, in the beginning, it was not. He would not negotiate. He wouldn't talk. Again, he kept making threats. Obviously, again, he fired on the deputies when they first got here. He threatened to kill the two grandkids after already telling us that he'd killed the daughter and the ex-wife. He said if we approached the house, he would kill the grandkids. But again, through negotiations, finally he was able, after several hours, to get him to release the two children. Well, we got multiple weapons, so we don't know exactly the complete breakdown of it, but there's multiple weapons that we believe were used, and other weapons there in the house. Rifles, shotguns, and pistols.
Tell us, I know you're real close to the scene here, and probably hadn't hit you yet, but just going through a heck of a deputy.
Well, it's, we have Tim Rutledge here from the state. He came down immediately. I want to thank him. That's another agency that's here from LEAPS, the law enforcement group that comes down and helps in these kinds of situations when you demobilize. And, anytime you see an entry team and all your perimeter guys see our entry team go through the door, and a deputy comes basically blown back out the door through gunfire, one of your members, with anybody, but much less one of your brothers, you see that it's going to be something to deal with mentally, and not only the stresses that's on this job without being shot at, or one of your brothers getting shot, the stresses is so high in law enforcement, and the suicide rate in law enforcement is outrageous because of the stresses on these officers, and so this, it's just to be commended for those who put their life on the line every day and do what they do for the pay that they receive, and many times much criticism, but they continue to do it just like that deputy and those in that stack did. They don't know these people, but they're somebody in harm's way, and they're trying to protect, preserve life, and they put their life in front of everybody else's, and and the deputy that went through that door, he wouldn't have it no other way but be first. That's how he is. He don't question, and he's an honorable man, and certainly we we will pray for him and hope God's will be done, and he'll be able to recover.
Tell us a little bit about the process of how you got him out of there without getting men shot. I mean, because was he pretty close to the home, I imagine?
Well, the entry team, and we need to scratch that right now. I said a name wrong. We don't need it. Y'all don't mind. But anyway, when the deputy went down, obviously he's first in through the door. They're being fired upon. The deputies are trained. We train multiple hours a month for these type of instances, and they immediately, their training kicked in, and they continue to cover fire while they were able to pull the deputy back. I won't say out of harm's way, because gunfire was still coming from the house. And again, M-Serve, as I said, did a tremendous, very quick, and selfless job coming in and taking the deputy from our deputies and getting him out of there as soon as possible. So that's the way we were able to do that, and we've been on in the operation as I described.
Was the suspect a registered sex offender?
Yes.
Has been released?
Not at this time, because like I said, he is deceased, but we will be releasing his name soon.
About any of the other victims?
Again, the suspect's dead, the daughter is deceased, the son-in-law, I do not have his current status, but again, he was in critical condition.
Do you have any of their identities?
No, their names I don't have them with me. The deputy sheriff's in critical condition, and the two grandchildren, thankfully, were able to get them out here without harm.
Tell us how they got them once you released them.
Well, it's just through negotiations. We spend a lot of man hours and dollars in training every year, as every agency does. And our guys do a tremendous job, and ladies do a tremendous job in this type of training. You've seen us do it time and time again. This is some of the risks that come with the job, and unfortunately, in this case, we did everything right to the best of our ability, and that's one of the dangers of the job. You don't ever know, and unfortunately, one of the deputies was shot by the suspect. And so, through those negotiations before and after that, of course, the kids were released before that. We just continue to negotiate as much as we can, and deadly force is the last resort. So we always try to negotiate regardless of what's happened. Even in a situation where you've got gunfire, you're still going to try to negotiate every way you can to keep from having to kill somebody.
Last time the armored truck went down there, and then there was some sporadic gunfire. Was all of that from outside, or was there any of it from inside?
When the armored truck went down there, that was all. I know of flash grenades that was going off. They was making a lot of noise. But I didn't hear any gunfire. When the armored truck went down.